Now to the issue of child care. A major debate is happening in Congress regarding whether the amount parents should pay would be capped, as well as whether free pre-K education should be expanded. It's all part of President Biden's American Families Plan, which could get a vote in the coming weeks. Our Joe St. George is going in depth tonight on the issue, who it impacts, how much it costs, and how much you could save.
You say hi.
A lot of moms and dads can relate to Gabrielle Alston.
I have a 2-year-old. His name is Gavin.
In her little bundle of joy. And a lot of moms and dads can probably relate to the cost of childcare, too. According to the nonpartisan advocacy group Childcare Aware, parents spend on average between $9,200 and $9,600 per child per year on childcare. The price varies by region, but unfortunately for Gabrielle, she lives in Washington, D.C., which is ranked as one of the most expensive cities for childcare for years. It costs her around $50 a day.
To me, that's a lot because especially if I don't have it and I got other bills.
Childcare, a big part of President Biden's American Families Plan before Congress. In exchange for raising taxes on individuals making more than $450,000 and couples earning more than $500,000, the president wants childcare costs capped. If you make less than 1.5 times your state's median income, which is around $40,000 a year in most places, you would only pay 7% of your total salary to childcare. That's potentially a game changer for parents like Gabrielle.
It seemed like a good plan, but I guess it depends on how much the parent makes.
In addition to capping costs, the Biden plan calls for a national expansion of free pre-kindergarten learning. The president wants $200 billion for the program, which some cities and states offer already.
All right, so can you write your name?
We recently visited one kindergarten classroom in D.C., a city with one of the largest free pre-K programs in the U.S. Mr. Yoho tells us,
So what does school start with?
it doesn't just save parents money, it better prepares kids.
So those kids, when they come into kindergarten, they're just ready with the foundational skills.
Of course, the challenge with pre-K is the cost. D.C. spends around $18,500 in taxpayer money for every pre-K student enrolled each school year, and the Biden plan calls for local and state governments to pay for part of it.
We're proudly one of the districts that is investing the most in early child education.
Dr. Louis Farabee is D.C.'s Chancellor of Public Schools and says if the Biden plan gets approved, more spots could be offered. After all, not every parent who wants it gets it. This year, there were 19,000 or so applicants for D.C.'s pre-K program. Around 6,200 did not get matched.
We're trying to keep track with demand.
But he cautions national leaders this program has to be done right. He pays pre-K teachers the same as elementary school teachers. Many places do not, he says, and that impacts quality.
So the compensation model is the same whether you teach pre-K or if you're a high school chemistry teacher.
You guys are doing great.
But free public pre-K can have unintended consequences. Traditional private preschools often close because they can't compete. Connor Williams is an academic fellow following childcare and says free pre-K for 3-year-olds can increase the cost of daycare for 1- and 2-year-olds.
Most private care centers make the bulk of their profits on the 3- and 4-year-olds that they serve because they don't have to hire as many staff to serve those students. It's much more expensive to take care of a newborn because you need many more people.
What Connor, Dr. Farabee, Mr. Yoho, and yes, Gabrielle are all saying will play a major role as Congress debates this in the coming weeks. Speaker Pelosi wants a vote in the House by July 4th. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.